Hi guys, welcome to vlog number 5. Today we have some daylight and today is also a pretty focused vlog. I'm excited to start doing these a little bit more themed and hopefully a little bit more fun. As you noticed today, a couple of changes. There's no glare in my glasses. Lesson learned from the last one. I was just so excited to keep talking and the edits, I didn't feel like I could say the same things with the same kind of passion and yeah, decided to keep it. So if you hated the glare on my glasses, you're not alone, but thanks for sticking through it. And hopefully by now you see this is like a weekly cadence. My plan was to make this a morning vlog situation. So far I've already accomplished recording myself at night, but hopefully this will change the tone to these vlogs. But let's make this condensed and let me give myself a 10-minute timer for today because yeah, need to make some things a little shorter. So the topic for today is journaling, and specifically there's a couple of things that came to my mind as I read a lot of different books over the last few months. This year of 2020 has been in general a lot of reading and listening time and reflection time on books for me, and there were a couple of books that I read this summer that put a lot of pieces in the right places. And so I wanted to talk about my journaling habits. There are lots of articles online that talk about the benefits of journaling, and I will link a few that I really enjoyed reading and getting familiar with. I'll link those in the video description below. But about my journaling habits, I have actually a special guest today on this vlog. Let me introduce you to this whole family of my journals. This stack is let's see, I think the first one was 2012, so that makes it 8 years. And I also have a few smaller ones, and I have a couple notes on them. There are a couple that I usually would put a quote on, and that would be my reminder every time I see a journal. This journal, it would have that quote on it. Very similar, actually. Let me see. No, this is, I already started doing this after the store was on. So similar idea, you know how everything in a Asilda store is an inspiration boost item? You pick up your favorite jacket, bag, and there's a little token with a message, a reminder of something, a reminder to create, to get outside, to appreciate the moment. I kind of carried this whole idea to my journals as well. Some of them have store stickers, but yeah. And then a whole little chunk of field notes when I was on different trips and wanted to try these out. But what I found with little ones is, when I have little ones, I also have a big one, and then everything's out of chronological order and I don't remember where I wrote something. So the last few years have been always kind of with a bigger journal. And let me come back to this. So this whole stack, frankly, everything, well, basically that's halfway. So these guys became all about actually writing out my thoughts, reflections, very few to-do lists. This specific half was all to-dos and ideas, and I need this and I need that, and like strategizing and all kinds of things. But there was not much thinking. Like if I scroll through these now, if I just flip through them, it's funny I say scroll through them. This is too much technology in my life. So yeah, a lot of like things I wanted to accomplish, and it was go, 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 and that reflects perfectly in these guys. And this stack, there were two different ones, these two different ones. At this time, this was October 2018. This was the time where I just got so burned out and I wanted to put everything on pause. Everything I had, all the responsibilities in my life. And yes, I know this sounds pretty crazy. You can't just, abandon and quit everything. But I thought, what if I just sit down and write down if I do nothing with these things that I'm responsible for, with this, it could be the store, my job, personal life, my hobbies, saying yes to too many people in my life, and then having to stick with those commitments, all these things. What will happen if I just say no? And so some of the initial pages in this guy were my reflections, like what will happen? Well, fewer people will buy the products, and Amazon sales may suffer, and I don't know, like I'll just go silent on social media. So when social media went silent, you can blame me spending time here and thinking through like, what would that be like? Same thing with email marketing. And then also this journal, I most of this I wrote when I was reading a book called The Artist's Way, which it's a great way for creatives to come back into the mode of putting things out in the world, creating. Really interesting. And there were a lot of journaling prompts that I really enjoyed. And so pretty much every day I would read something and I would reflect back, and there would be these exercises, write this out, write this out. So this one became a lot of dailies. Basically, from The Artist's Way, you learn how to do morning pages. It's every morning you sit down, and however big you want, you write something for 3 pages. It could be thoughts, your to-do list for the day, anything that's in your head. It could be ideas. We humans are very good with having ideas in early mornings, because at night our mind had to process the events of previous day and build up connections that we normally consciously, when we're awake, we don't necessarily have. That's why a lot of people say, and we'll come back to this later about the importance of sleep. So a lot of people say that our neurons and things in our brain build these networks that can only be built during sleep. So when there's deep sleep and kind of more shallow sleep, REM and NREM sleep. So that's why it's kind of really nice to journal at night, but I don't really have a set schedule. I don't have I have to sit and journal every day. But these guys were a lot of morning pages. Pretty much all of them are morning pages. And then, let's see. This will sound pretty crazy, but I wrote 3 of these. These are Moleskine large plain hardcover notebooks. 3 of these are all 2020, and I am on my 4th one. So if I had to show something for my 2020, it would be these guys and my quarantine video, these vlogs, my students at LMU, me leaving the job, and hopefully a couple other things that you guys will see pretty soon. But yeah, so the importance of journaling, and what is this one lesson that I realized just recently? For me, this shift from making to-do lists to becoming a person who sits down and reflects on my emotions and my thoughts became a huge way to mentally clean out my head when I had just so much going on. And you just get in this swirl. You're like a hamster in a wheel where nothing is ever ending. You don't feel like you're making progress. Every day looks the same. You have the same anxieties. You have the same list of things you are kind of responsible for. I need to do this. I need to do that. But then you never feel the progress. So what I found with journaling is that, and I will come back to this in a second, but what I found with journaling is that it really helps me to put things down on paper that clears out my head. And that was huge. So different kinds of worries. Some days I would make lists of this is what I fear. This is how I feel right now. These are my thoughts, or whatever it could be about my situation, let's say at work, or what happened that day at work, or a cool project that I was a part of. A big chunk of some of those other journals from last year were reflections on my motorcycle trips that I've done with some amazing content creators. So it's just a little bit of everything. And then 2020, some of it is drawing. I started drawing. Some of it is to-do lists. And a lot of it is just me writing out my thoughts. And that was huge. So what I realized, and this idea comes from the book called Digital Minimalism, called by a guy named Cal Newport. He is someone who writes amazing books, and I read all of his books except for one. I read them this year, and then last week I reread at a faster speed through Audible. I listen to books mostly. I listened to Deep Work and Digital Minimalism again, made some notes. I'm going to include some of that information as part of my lecture for my LMU class. But what Cal says is that our minds are so overloaded with information and devices that we don't give ourselves a chance to power down, sit down, and process our feelings, our emotions, and our thoughts. And that really stuck out to me because when my day starts, I grab my phone. When I'm throughout the day, I have my phone always with me in my pocket. I will have my Spotify on, People send me messages. I'm checking Instagram. I'm checking email. I'm checking stocks. I'm checking my Amazon deliveries. I am on Trello checking my to-dos and people I work with on a freelance basis right now. They send me messages. My mom and dad message me, and all this is nonstop. So, and then audiobooks, and I have my camera with me sometimes. So this is just so much digital stuff, and we are not created this way. The information and the digital transformations and technologies started growing so fast and evolving so fast. The way we are created, we haven't evolved that fast. We have not adapted. We're not meant to be always on. We're not meant to be always around other people. And these shallow connections that we have on social media, it can never replace a real conversation you can have with someone sitting in a coffee shop, having a long conversation, reading the social signals, like the facial expressions, and going deeper in the conversation. That doesn't happen with social media. And that can never replace or, hit like or that looks awesome type of comments. That will never replace a real connection you can have with somebody in a face-to-face interaction. Totally get that we are insanely limited in 2020 with COVID, with not being able to see friends, being stuck in certain kinds of places in the world. But at the same time, I think you can still find a way to connect on a deeper level and cut out the shallowness. And what Cal said in his book, Digital Minimalism, is that journaling, and especially spending time alone, that really helps us. And he calls this solitude. And the definition for solitude is the freedom from input from other sources, from other people, devices. So essentially, you have time to spend with yourself. It doesn't mean you have to be isolated in a cabin in Iceland. You might as well be on the beach with hundreds of people around you, or walking around, or at home, or you can be on the couch where your life partner is next to you. It does not matter. What matters is that you have time to process your thoughts, your emotions, your ideas, your dilemmas. I often like to write lists of pros and cons and what if this and what if that, like what will really happen. There's this thinking of to get to the root of something that bothers you or something a person says, you have to ask why 5 times. So why? And someone gives you an answer. You say why? And then only on the 5th time you really get to the core of it. So I think with journaling, a lot of it is the same. You power down. There will be no devices around you, so you have a little bit of a moment of silence, of quiet. You process your thoughts and emotions. You have the time to reflect on your day. You have the time to plan and have ideas and strategize. I frequently have conversations with friends who say, I want to start a business, this and that, and I'm kind of worried about, what if this happens? What if this happens? And I always say, well, okay, so what is the worst case scenario? So let's say you're not successful here. You learn the lesson, you progress, you adjust, and you go again. Like, what's the worst? What are you going to lose? 10 hours of your time you just spent making something, reaching out. I mean, a lot of people have this misconception about huge resources needed to launch something. I'm a super firm believer that you have an idea, you test it in the smallest way possible, which is called the minimum viable product in the business world. So you start with that, and then you just become super scrappy. It's not like, okay, I need $10,000 Instagram budget. No, you reach out to people who you think will buy this. You grow it slow. You go, let's say, to farmer's market. You see people's reactions. With pins and patches, before there was a huge store and Amazon, there were film camera meetup swaps. And depending on how the weekend would go, that would give an idea of is this even worth it? This was before orders of thousands of patches in inventory. A lot of it is behind me in the right here in the mirror, actually. So journaling gives you a chance to power down, spend time in solitude, which is this state of freedom from input of other minds, freedom of input from other information sources. And you have the time to process things, actually properly sit down and process. It's great to have deeper conversations with people. It's great to control and really prioritize what technology you use in your life, how much, and to what exactly does this benefit. If you want to check out Cal Newport's books, he is really, really giving a really good snapshot of like what's important, why, different kinds of studies, pretty much super easy to read and listen to, very informative, and everything's kind of like really structured and broken down in a nice way. So my ultimate goal with journaling, I'm going to make this into a blog post as well, but my goal with journaling, I'm going to create a 30-day email, I would say journaling prompt subscription list. It will be free, so anybody can join. But every day, essentially, you get a journaling prompt. Every morning, you receive an email that is all text, and it just says, it will give you what, one or two options of what to reflect on that day, certain list to make, a question to think about. I think, honestly, like for me to give back to the community, there's different ways. One of them is me teaching college classes and marketing classes. Another way is to create products that inspire people. And the third way would be to educate in a inexpensive way, but very affordable and kind of sustainable. So this email list, once I create the journaling prompts, which I already have the list, creating the emails themselves, making the list of how people subscribe to it, I think it will be huge, and hopefully it will help a lot of people. I would love to share the journaling prompts that helped me, that were interesting for me. And hopefully, if this helps one person to make their day or life or a month or a certain portion of their life a little bit better, that's all I'm asking for. Honestly, no, I'm not asking for anything. I'm going to put it out. It'll be available soon, hopefully next week. But if you would like to subscribe, there will be a link that I'll share and put in the description on this video and on the blog. But that's it for today. Honestly, this was huge. This helped me process so much of 2020, stay calm, balanced. I meditate, I work out, I think a lot, I walk outside. 2020 changed my lives of pretty much all of us in major ways, but this helped me stay sane. I highly encourage you to look into journaling, the benefits of journaling, and that's it. I hope this inspired you a little bit. You obviously don't have to write this much, but who knows, maybe one day these guys will become a book, or I'll write a book about something else. Who knows? But that's it. Thank you for watching this vlog 5. Now we're probably at about an hour of all the vlogs recorded so far. So thank you for sticking through it, for watching this. More to come, excited. I kind of like this midday, this is like, what is it, 6 something p.m. look. So hopefully more midday things are coming up. We'll probably have a yerba mate next time together. I'll tell you more about it and the ideas I have with that business I'm gonna launch. But for now, thank you. Check out journaling. Look at the links I'm gonna put below for some info resources on this. And I hope you give it a shot with a little bit of writing every day, or maybe once a week. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye. Take care.